Opponents of the Net, I am Countess Rose, and welcome to Two Mares Review, where we do anything from character design to fan fiction. I am here with my co-host, Firescales.
Hello.
And today we're doing something a little different. We are reviewing fan animation, Luna's Determination.
Woo! I like animation. This must be good. One can have dreams.
So, for those who don't know, the animation was originally premiered at Nightmare Nights this past year by its creator, Minty Root.
Nightmare Nights was fun.
Yay! We have some thoughts on the animation. Firescales, would you like a quick synopsis of the story?
That's a key question. Quick is not in the vocabulary of this animation.
Story, I think, is also questionable.
So, from what I was able to dig up, it's basically how Luna was able to get kind of like find her prowess in raising the moon, and how she became good friends with Starswirl the Bearded, and it all was through this little jingle bell, I guess, and her accepting his death, I guess? We've watched this 5 times and we still haven't gotten it completely.
Yeah, the story is a little wonky. There are some major time skips because it starts off with Luna going into the old castle, and she finds this little bell that used to be Starswirl's, apparently. And it flashes back to when she first meets Starswirl, back when they were little foals. And apparently she had problems with levitation as the main thing. And he helped her with that, and as time went on, apparently they stayed close until finally all the ponies who were meant to raise the moon apparently collapsed from magical exhaustion of somewhat, and Starswirl helped Princess Luna help him to raise the moon and finally gain her cutie mark.
It goes all over the place. There's a lot of sharp transitions that kind of leaves the viewer very confused and kind of lost.
Like, we showed this to our friend Hazel Dawn, and she was just like, what the heck did I just watch?
Mm-hmm.
And again, she doesn't know the main background of the story, but still, someone who is just coming in, they shouldn't have to do a research paper on the lore of My Little Pony to understand your story. They still should be able to pick up the general gist of it.
Right, and I guess no dialogue, which dialogue can be hard.
Yeah, well, like, having a animation that can fully portray its story with no dialogue is tricky, but when it's done right, oh my gosh, it's like some of the most satisfying stories you can ever watch. Like, I love the short animations that have no dialogue at all, and it's just music. Oh, it's beautiful. Not this, but improving of the story. Seeing that this animation is cued to already pre-existing music. Obviously, you don't have any options with time expansion, but could we fix this?
I mean, first off, maybe more fluid transitions.
Yeah, I think when we was talking earlier, you made the comment Starswirl being really, really young in the first time we see him, and we don't really recognize him as Starswirl first off, except for the stars and the moon on his cape. Maybe if the Starswirl that we first meet is a little bit older.
Possibly. I mean, it could have, you know, to explain, I mean, now that I think about it, it could have been one of Celestia's pupils, maybe. She was already taking in pupils at that age. She's, you know, Celestia looked young herself.
Yeah, I don't think, like, Celestia, I don't think didn't start her school for gifted unicorns until after she moved the capital to Canterlot.
Yeah. So I think it confused me that
such a young colt was around the castle.
And helping raise the moon.
Yeah.
I mean, I know he's all powerful and a like legendary figure and a founding founder of the elements of harmony, but you know, everybody has to start somewhere. As a foal, he's not going to be that powerful to help raise the sun and moon.
Yeah. So maybe make Starswirl a little bit, like, I understand what he was to do. He was trying to, like, say they've been together since they were kids, and it's just confusing to me because Luna ages so much slower according to this, because it's right after that scene with Miss Foals, you automatically cut to teenage Luna and Grandpa Starswirl.
Yeah, or at least, like, middle older age.
Yeah, because like he was full beard.
He had that Gandalf beard flowing, and it was flowing beautifully.
Yes, it was. But I guess the transitions are the main problem because you jump from major time periods around. I also felt like you was jumping locations a lot. Like,
yeah.
Usually when I'm watching animation, I don't know if this is just me, but I can usually get a blueprint of the building or at least the location in my head going. And from watching this, I had trouble understanding, wait, are you in the old castle or the new castle? What's going on? Where's this room come from?
Yeah, well, I noticed...
Wasn't there a table there?
Well, I know that where they originally raised the moon, where Luna helped the first time, that was at the... I noticed it was on the mountainside where the castle is now. So...
Yeah, it's like, using me because, like, from the opening shots, it looks like you're in the Everfree Castle of the Two Sisters. And then from other shots, it looks like you're in the Canterlot Castle. So it feels like you're jumping in between two castles, one of which technically doesn't exist in that time frame.
So probably more differentiation, like maybe in the backgrounds and... Well, like, or also in the style of the castles, because those castles look incredibly different. The Canterlot Castle is very, you know, it's very recognizable. It's kind of plump shaped, very curvy and whatnot. And then the Two Sisters Castle looks like a castle.
Yeah, it's a very traditional looking castle.
So that could help maybe with styling some of the set pieces to kind of help the viewer understand where and what this is taking place in.
Yeah, because like the story, I feel like it needs another draft. Because like I understand that you have been working on the story for well over a year, and I have been following the story since it was originally Moonbow. I believe was the original story animation supposed to be called before you scrap that script and start this new one. So from the animatics of both of them, I feel like this story is a little bit stronger, but it still needed some revisions, and I'm not exactly sure where to go, especially in the time frame.
Did he give it to a writer to kind of look over?
I'm not sure. I just watched the animatics.
So if he didn't do that, that might have been a good way to kind of help with the storyline, is actually give it to a writer.
Did you write a script at all?
Maybe he didn't.
Because, like...
Didn't he say in his... We went to his panel, BTW.
We went to his second panel.
His second panel. Didn't he say he kind of just did it off the fly?
Yeah, like, from my understanding, it's like you just jump right into the animatics, which, if you can work from that, good on you, but from your past, exploits, you might want to put some pen to paper.
It's not the worst thing in the world. It kind of, you know, gives you at least a slight rock to stand on in this ocean of creativity. So
it's like, starting with a written out script, even if it's like the vaguest thing, like I'm trying to work through a graphic novel right now, I have a written out script for pages that I'm currently working through. Writing out the script, even if it's for a visual medium, is very important, and it's helpful because the animatic can build a script, and the script can build up the animatic, and the animatic can build up the animation. They're stepping stones, and if you have one missing, the entire tower comes tumbling down. So, story is problematic, but I think maybe one or two more hashes and maybe an editor would be helpful.
I agree. But, you know, not terrible.
Not terrible. It is definitely a lot better, in my opinion, than Thundercloud. Or whatever the heck that thing was named. I think it was Project Thundercloud.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
So, improvements. Improvements are good.
Yes, you have grown as a storyteller. You still need to work on it. I've seen growth with your work, so...
Speaking of work, let's talk about animation.
Oh, sweet merciful Lord.
Well, okay, let's talk about the good stuff first.
Okay.
The backgrounds look beautiful. Lovely done. Painted, rendered, and... I think
all of, if not 95% of the backgrounds were 3D rendered and painted.
Which, nice. I know Maya and ZBrush. 3D, I know 3D programs. I like that. I think that's great.
All I can say is, dude, I would have been dead.
You had too much time on your hands.
Either that or you need to sleep.
What's sleep?
Honey, you are out of college. You cannot make that excuse anymore.
My creativity demands a sacrifice.
Oh, my 5 a.m. alarm clock can't handle that.
So, I love the backgrounds. The animation looks good. Like, it's pleasing to look at. And
still frames.
Sure, we'll go with that. So, that's one good thing we both, Countess and I, like. On the slight downside, might I ask, I haven't really seen much of your work beforehand, so this is my first work I've seen of yours. What was with all the jumpy animation? Did you run out of time? Did you just kind of threw your hand in the air and say, okay, it's done? Which I've done that. I understand that I'm done. Finish line. I don't know what it was, but my goodness, that jumpy animation.
Jumpy animation with the puppets. I'm starting to think that maybe you had the Nightmare Nights deadline looming ahead and you spent so much time on the backgrounds, the character animation suffered for it. But, because like, again, I was actually really looking forward to this because I've been following this project for over a year at that point. And it took 45 seconds of this 6-minute animation for my expectations to plummet. The first time you see Luna, like, not in shadow, and she's looking up. Oh, no, her head goes down. Ugh, it was so janky. It was so choppy.
It was very jarring when compared to like the beautiful backgrounds. It was because of that. The janky animation was as clear as day. Honestly, the best suggestion is to just go back and keep working on it. Keep working on those frames and the puppets and whatnot.
Yeah, it's like some sections were like, I can applaud your attempt at doing a 3D. What is that movement called?
360.
Pan around? Pan around, thank you. Pan around like a character. There's like that one where Luna's on the balcony and she's in her current form and it pans around her head. I can applaud that attempt, but this motion as like you can see where the keyframes are. And some of the lines are just so thick, and then when they are there 1 second and gone the next, it's just like,
So, yeah, Luna was janking all over the place. Poor dear. Some of the other side characters were also really bad and blatant as day, like Star Swirl when he was a foal.
Yeah, when he was a colt. Oh, that hurt his cape, his little cloak. What was wrong with that thing?
Okay, so for those who don't know, it's when Star Swirl kind of sees like, oh, we need to raise the moon, and he kind of moves away from Luna the first time. You can literally again count the frames, and just it's very jumpy, very jarring, very surprising, and
it's like whoop!
And honestly, kind of hilarious.
It makes me laugh every time. But besides the very awkward motion of just the animation itself, the general character to move like that.
Very quick.
Very quick and very unnatural.
And he disappeared so oddly off camera too.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I would have preferred him to just run towards the camera, like from the front instead of backing away.
Well, like he couldn't run from the camera. There was a wall there.
Okay, well then,
Well, like if he instead of like flipping around Luna, he like walks around her or runs around her instead of showing his back.
Yeah, that's another thing is there's a rule in theater, like stage theater, that you always have your front facing
out
the audience. And so you never, as best as you can, you never try to have a character's back turned.
Never turn your back. If you need to turn around and face a character in the opposite direction, you turn toward the audience.
And so I didn't like how his back was towards because we saw less of his facial expression, and so it's kind of it's a little rule, a little detail that could have, you know, added a little extra, I guess.
Can we talk about the mouth movements or lack thereof?
Close your mouth! Don't be a codfish!
Oh my gosh, there's multiple points in the thing where it's like it felt like there should be at least mouth dialogue instead of their mouths hanging open, like shock and awe. I get it's a very dramatic scene, but close thy mouth, darling.
If you don't have anything to say, just keep your mouth shut. It ain't that hard, and it honestly was really awkward, especially when when Luna was like, I can't raise the moon by myself, and Starsword's like, you know, boops her on the chest and says, we can do it together, kind of boop, and they're both just, just like, oh, it was just weird. And the thing is, I don't know what was with your animation, but Starswirl's hoof was moving, and I was just like, oh, Starswirl! I hope you're not being frisky. This is a character in a children's show. I've broken the Countess. Because that's what I thought when I first saw it. I was like, oh, I slapped thee. That's what Luna would say.
Gosh, you need to stop breaking me. Okay.
So yes, the open mouths were just so weird. Like when Celestia first comes and like, oh, you found a little bell. How cute. She's just holding that smile like, you found a bell. It's so great. Yeah, it's almost like
it's just open the entire time.
Yes. So just I don't know. I think it would have been, you know, a quick big grin and like happy smile, and then just kind of back to its mouth closed with a little smile.
Yeah. It's like. But, like, there were times throughout the animation, there's, like, two that I specifically remember. It was where you actually bothered to lip sync to what the character was supposed to say. And that was when Starswirl was like, help me, I need help. Raising the moon, and Luna, and then that was followed by the codfish scene. And then at the very end was Luna and her thank you for everything line, which had subtitles for then.
Yeah, I either lip sync really well, which lip syncing is not that hard.
Well, like, I feel like that scene could have just done a very nice, well done thank you.
Yeah, and like, he's popular, isn't he? He's fairly popular.
I would say so with that sub count.
Okay. You're fairly popular, you're popular, and I'm sure an up-and-coming voice VA would have loved to just have their name on your piece. You know, there's nothing wrong with just asking somebody, hey, can someone make a short line? And if they want money, you know, here's $10 or something like that. It's just, it was, you know, and with the janky animation anyway, it's hard to read the lips anyway. So, you know, if you had to keep that animation, the a VA for that last little tidbit would have been really, really helpful.
Yeah, because like I can understand the past not having audio at that point, but that last little section where it was so jarring to have those subtitles, because we hadn't had subtitles the entire thing, and then right there.
Yeah, and it would have been so cool if we had a voice actor there, because that entire thing that we saw was a flashback.
It was a memory.
So there's really no talking in memories. There usually isn't. And so having like a very very kind of graceful, beautiful woman saying thank you for everything would have been just a nice, nice closing bit on that animation.
There are plenty of very good Luna voice actors out there. Finding one would not be difficult.
So
it would have been less jarring than the subtitles. Okay, I need to talk about this bell. It is a major plot point and set piece for this animation. Please, for the love of all things good and holy, do not change the style of a major plot.
Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling, she's triggered. Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling.
Because there are several instances throughout this animation where you see Belle in fully 3D rendered spinning around in front of the camera for all its glory to see, and the next second is a vector.
Yeah, I would pick one or the other.
Pick one, dude. Because
it's very jarring.
Exceedingly jarring, and you would have been slapped within a millisecond for changing the style of a major prop.
Because what it does is, because we were introduced to it as a 3D object in terms of, you know, rendering and whatnot. So we expect it to look like that throughout the entire picture. But then when it changes to very flat, you know, very flat vector, which is not bad, but when it changes to that, we're just like, what is she holding? Is that the bell? Is it, what is that? And
because
so,
like it doesn't just change in depth perception of it. It also changes drastically in color, because the vector bell is a lot more yellow.
Yeah.
Than the 3D rendered metal bell. It changes drastically in color and drastically in how we perceive it depth-wise. And as you can see, it irks me to the utmost degree, because that is just one of my pet peeves.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
So let's end on something nice. The music was lovely. It was very nice.
It was very nice, lovely, and my understanding it was done by Meloponic Pony, I believe is the name of the person. My understanding is they passed away, and this was actually dedicated to them, as well as to one other person, as well as King Mars, who was a VA within the community.
Which that's very sweet.
Yes, it was a very nice gesture and a very nice send-off to these people who made a very big impact within the community.
And have really good work.
And yes.
So, you know, that's very sweet. That's very good of you. I'm glad you did that. You know, may the families see this and, you know, be, you know, comforted and honored that you cared about their family members or friends' work, that you were willing to put a year's worth of your time into it. So overall, okay. Overall, okay.
It was decent.
Yeah.
It was a interesting experiment of merging 2D and 3D animation together in this way. The backgrounds and the lighting effects, for the most part, were done well, although there were some instances where you didn't fully animate the shadows over the characters properly.
Yeah. And
then it just like stopped. And then, but overall, it was a very ambitious endeavor, seeing I believe you did this by yourself. I don't know how you're not dead.
So, you know, for the amount of the crew members and the amount of work that needed to be done, it was good. It was okay.
Yeah, it was a
room for improvement.
Always room for improvement, but that's with anything.
Yeah, that just means there's room for learning, basically.
Yes.
So
again, your storytelling has improved, but there is much to be desired still. And I look forward to seeing future projects from you and seeing your improvement. Anyone else out there has a fan fiction, a video, a character, anything you would like us to review, please send us a link either in the comment section below or to our DA page at twomaresreview.dv.com, or you can tweet it at me at CountessRose on Twitter. And before I end up skinning my cat, I hope y'all enjoy this review, and until next time, guys, I'm Countess Rose.
And I'm Fire Scales.
Bye-bye.
Bye.